Hello, good evening. Bienvenidos. Welcome to the Delhi School Board Candidate Forum. My name is Vicky Solis. I've been a resident of Delhi for the last 19 years. I'm excited to join all of you here tonight. Christina is going to give us some information on the simultaneous translation that will be occurring this evening.
Thank you, Vicky. Para las personas que desean escuchar las preguntas y respuestas en español, por favor, necesitan marcar el número que les voy a dar. Lo apuntan, por favor, área 209-381-5900. Y una vez que marcan y contestan, les van a pedir el número de la reunión. Y el número es 6912 y luego el signo de gato. Y luego el código de acceso es el 95315 y el símbolo de gato. Muy bien. De nuevo, el número es 209-381-5900 y tendrán la interpretación simultánea. Gracias.
Thank you for that, Christina. So first, I'd like to thank the Planning Committee, which is myself. Joining us tonight, Joanna Alfaro. Thank you for being on that Planning Committee. And Aidali Curiel Raigosa, who also helped put this event together tonight for the community. I also like to thank Mr. Jose Moran, who's in the background helping us with the technology this evening, and Christina Cruz, who is serving as our translator and providing simultaneous translation. I'd like to thank all of your candidates for being here. Cynthia Caldera, Ariel Gonzalez, Juan J. Peña, and Ramon Prado. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are going to first start off with an introductory question, and then I will go into how we came to be and tonight's forum. But first, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves to the community. And I'm just going to start off with whoever's name I wrote down first here. It's probably by alphabetical order by your last name. So you have 2 minutes to answer the question. And it's just an introductory question. Who are you? Do you have children in the district? What do you know about the community and the families that live here in Delhi? Cynthia, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cynthia Caldera. I've been here, I'm 33 years old. I've been here since I was 1987, 32 years. I was a 1-year-old when my parents came to this town. Went to Shendel, graduated high school here, class of 05. Now my kids have the privilege to go through the schools here in Delhi. We have a middle schooler, and then we have 2 elementary at Al Cap. I am one of the things that I find that Delhi, which is so amazing, is that we come together. If somebody's, there's a death, there's a fire, any kind of, thing that a tragic event, Delhi comes together and supports. That's just what we are. And I'd be honored to be able to take the school board, if I'm granted that position, to be able to advocate for our students and for our parents and for our teachers to give the best opportunities for our little ones.
Thank you. I have Ariel.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to thank Vicky, Joanna, and Aidali for setting this forum. Also, Jose, for allowing us to use this platform and to create awareness on the candidates. My name is Ariel Gonzalez, and I am running for Delhi Unified School Board. The word unified is something this district hasn't had in several years. Being raised in Delhi and living here for 27 years, I can say a lot has changed, especially in this district. Like many of you, I am concerned. Both of my kids attend this school district, one in 3rd grade, Harmony Elementary, and the other ETK, Shendel Elementary. Also, today, my wife gave birth to our beautiful baby daughter that will also attend this district. Today, I speak to you from this hospital where she was born. I could have easily canceled my appearance, but the fact is, I am a concerned parent that wants change in this district. And as a concerned parent, the best way to ensure the educational well-being of our kids is to be involved in the decision-making while also listening to kids, parents, teachers, and classified employees. This pandemic has brought so many uncertainties, and now more than ever, we need to act so that we need to act as one so that unity can once again be part of this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Juan?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in again. Thank you, Vicky, Joanna, Jose, Cristina, for doing the translating. I've been part of this community since 1994. My kids go to this district. I have a middle schooler, goes in 8th grade, and I have an elementary student who goes to 6th grade. Now, since the very beginning, I've been involved in the community. I've been involved in the education of my children. And yes, I've seen many changes that have been happening here in the district. And like many parents, I am concerned because the district is not headed in the right direction. And so, like every parent who is concerned for their educational well-being of our students, of their children, I want to be part of the decision-making that is affecting the lives of our kids. And so because of that, I want to be part of the Delhi Unified School District Board.
Thank you. And last but not least, Ramon. And I apologize, I'm not calling you by your last name. Let's relax. Let's have fun. Let's be, a little more casual. So Ramon, go ahead.
Hi there, Ramon Prado. I've been in our school district since preschool, graduated class of 04. And so I'm an incumbent, so I would like to be voted back in for another 4 years so that we can have the opportunity to take the district to places where I know we can be, elevate our children's education, and create a strong board that shows great leadership. And I believe 3 out of us 4 candidates on the board will create that and take our district to the level that I know we can be at. So I hope that I get your guys' support. And once again, thank you for putting this on. This is awesome. So, but like I said, I wish for your guys' support. And if not, hey, good luck to everybody and everybody out there. 3 out of these 4 candidates, vote for 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let me set my timer here. So let me tell you a little bit about what's happening tonight, community. So we are streaming live on YouTube and live on Facebook. Your comments on both of those platforms do come up to us here. However, we have given the community an opportunity to submit questions previously, and those questions were put out to the community to be polled on, and we will be asking the questions we have already received. If time allows, we will look at the comments and ask additional questions. We will be running this event until 8 o'clock this evening. Just for transparency, all candidates were invited to participate tonight, and these 4 candidates have made themselves available to be here to speak to you. So thank you for your time. We also have questions from the Delhi Teachers Association, 3 questions from them. 3 questions from CSEA, the California School Employees Association. Again, 3 questions from them. When the polling, we did put the polling out to the English speaking community and Spanish speaking community, and we have combined the votes on the questions. So when we get to the community questions, we will let you know how many people voted for that question. So it's pretty exciting to see the votes happening. I think the question with the most votes had 64 votes. So that's 64 potential voters that could be voting for you this election time. So thank you to them for being a part of the process. So let me explain how today is going to roll out. So Joanna will be pulling a name. What do you have there, Joanna? Show us your sticks. So each stick has a name of a candidate. So this is going to be random. Joanna will draw a name of a candidate, and that candidate will be asked a question. They will have 1.5 minutes to answer the question. We ask the candidates to provide a clear and concise answer. Don't feel like you need to fill the time. Say what the public needs to know. We don't want to fill with fluff. We hear fluff all the time. We need facts and we need action. Okay, so that's what we want to hear from you. And I challenge you to join me in that because I think that's what's going to make tonight really great. You will see a 10-second warning. So here's my 10-second warning. And then you will hopefully hear my time. If not, you'll get a big X like this to let you know that time is up. I'm going to need a little bit of support of myself to challenge and juggle the paperwork and the timer, so bear with me. We're going to do great, I'm sure. So if we're ready to begin, let's go ahead and Joanna, you're going to want to unmute yourself so we can see which candidate gets the first question tonight.
Okay, the first question is going to be for Cynthia.
Cynthia, the first question is coming to you from DTA President Christine. Have you accepted invitations to meet with all stakeholders, parents, students, DTA, and CSEA? If not, why? And will you commit to meeting with all stakeholders on a regular basis for the purpose of being transparent and informed? Go ahead.
Hi, I have not met with the unions per se, but I'd be more than willing to meet with them. I don't have anything to hide. I'm an open as a book. I love communication. I feel that communication is key to excellence. And we have to have those channels of communications open in order to be effective. I would love to be part of their monthly meetings, or if they need to meet with me or whatever, email me, text me. I don't mind. I'll make myself available. I need to make myself available. If I'm sitting here in this position, that means that I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that voices are heard, not only for the teachers. We have the CSCA, we have our parents, and we have our students. We can't forget about them. We have to listen to them. And I'm totally open to meet with them and make myself available to them in the event that they just need somebody to talk to or express their concerns. And then for me to take action and do what I needed to do to make sure that their voices are heard.
Thank you. Joanna.
The next question will be for Juan.
Okay, Juan. Question coming from you from DTA President Christine. How can you help ensure we are doing our best to advocate, assess, and serve our special education population?
Perfect. Well, special education is really close and dear to my heart. I currently work as a resource specialist at one of the schools, and special education sometimes is forgotten. And a lot of times we have to make sure that we work with our regular teachers to make sure that we are looking at all the possible ways that we can support our special students in meeting those goals. Because each student, of course, they have all of their IEP goals that they have to meet. And so one of the ways is for teachers and special ed to work together and to build that rapport and build relationships to make sure that the teachers and special ed are working together. So I think that's how we can better serve our special ed department, and making sure that we have qualified staff and provide the services that they need.
Thank you. Joanna?
Our next question is for Ariel.
Okay, Ariel, in your opinion, why is there a high turnover rate, and how would you as a board member recruit the best and retain highly qualified staff and administrators?
So why do I think that there is a high turnover rate? Was that the question? Okay. Well, honestly, I feel that I've been in management for some time now as a business owner as well. I have to manage a team. But the reason for high turnover in my experience is because you don't have the right training, the right resources for these teachers. And these teachers get tired of being held accountable for something that they have no control over. So first is that training, the proper training for these teachers to ensure that they are educating our kids the way that they're supposed to and following the curriculum the way that the superintendent also wants it to be done, right? Secondly, how to recruit. I would strongly suggest, for the district office and for ourselves as well, to identify which ones are strong teachers in other districts. We have board members right now that work in other districts, and I feel that sometimes we're not doing enough as a school system to get the best, right? We're just hiring people that we know or referrals from other people, it's great to a certain extent. We have to have high caliber employees, high caliber teachers, so that we can start getting back students that have left our district because our parents don't think that this district is providing the proper education to their kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Joanna.
Ramon, next question.
Okay, Ramon, this next question is coming to you from California School Employees Association, CSEA, the Vice President, Dustin. What are your plans for dealing with the economic issues facing the district in the coming years?
Well, we're in this place where, unfortunately, we're going to have to scale back and open up our books and start making these difficult decisions, cutting things that, everything in our educational system is important, but we're going to have to make those hard choices and scale back on cutting budgets, and that's just the harsh reality. Somehow cut budgets, but at the same time focus on what's really important, and that's the education of our kids. So it's going to look very slim in the next few years, but I know with the great team we can accomplish that, even with the slim budget. Focus on education, cut back on things that are not necessary at the time, and move forward.
Thank you. Joanna?
Again, Ramon.
Okay, Ramon. So just for the public out there, we did not pick Ramon 2 times in a row. So after all 4 names are selected from the bowl or the bucket, they are then placed back in, and we start the candidates over again in random order. So Ramon, the next question coming to you from CSEA, submitted by Dustin, and Dustin and Christine collected questions from the people that they represent. So, what is your stance on distance learning, and what role does it play in our current situation?
Well, as of right now, distance learning is the reality. The stance on distance learning, I know it's not ideal, and the ideal situation would be having our kids back in the classroom in the safest way possible. But distance learning is something we're gonna have to evolve with, learn from, and tweak what doesn't work. It's unfortunately our reality right now. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be our reality forever. In the meantime, we're just going to have to adjust until we can safely bring our kids back into the classroom where they belong.
Thank you. Joanna?
Juan?
Okay, Juan. Where do you believe our resources, be them time, money, or anything else, should be focused on to maximize student learning?
Well, Vicky, I think our resources, we have to make sure that we invest. As far as money goes and as far as the resources, I think we need to make an investment in our students. So first of all, we have to look at, is it going to benefit our students? And if it is, then we have to make sure that we invest in that. First of all, we have to find out, make that question to make sure that we are investing for our students. And so if it's not going to benefit our students, then we really shouldn't be investing in certain expenditures that are not necessary.
Thank you.
And the next question will be for Cynthia.
Cynthia. So now, Cynthia, we are moving on to our community questions. So the first question is coming to you with 64 votes from the community. Again, I'd like to thank the community for their input in submitting questions and participating in the poll in English and in Spanish. And I'd like to, at this time, thank Aidali for translating the questions in Spanish for the community. So Cynthia, with 64 votes, the community wants to know, in your opinion, how can the school board help keep the superintendent accountable?
Oh, it's simple. It's checks and balances. It comes down to accounting. Teachers are evaluated on certain standards. Superintendent should be held on the same account. Everybody should be on the same account. It's not just superintendent. It should be across the board. And if we don't have checks and balances in order to make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing and, following through what he's supposed to be doing, then maybe it needs to be evaluated. But it goes not just for the superintendent, it goes across the board. It's not, everybody should be making sure that their evaluations are up to par. That's how we are able to employ and keep amazing people. And if we're not doing that, then who are we keeping? Are our kids getting the kids are going to be the one benefiting from that. So if we're not making sure that everybody across the board is being accountable and being evaluated properly, then what are we doing?
Thank you.
And the next question is for Ariel.
Ariel, coming from the community with 62 votes, what steps will you as a board member take to ensure that the teachers feel their voices are heard and acknowledged?
Well, first off, I became aware that as of right now, the teachers are working without a contract. So what does that mean for our students? That our teachers could potentially go on strike. That's something that we cannot have, So what does that mean for everyone else? It means that the teachers and the superintendent, they need to come to an agreement, right? And this is crucial so that these strikes don't happen. We cannot have our kids without their teachers educating them, especially right now. This is not the time. So I really strongly suggest that the superintendent, the DTA presidents, they go back to the negotiating table and find an agreement. Obviously, both sides can't get what they want, but they need to find a middle ground, right? Another thing is, try to get the DTA president involved, get her involved in the meetings with the superintendent and the board. She represents all of the teachers. So, and that is very important. I've talked to a lot of teachers. I hear their concerns. And the thing that I keep hearing is that their superintendent is not listening to them. So how do we find a common ground is getting everyone involved, not just the superintendent, getting all the board members to listen to DTA, their board, and all the teachers as well. Thank you.
Okay, for the next round, the first question is for Ramon.
Okay, Ramon. How important is mental health and counseling? If this is important, what plans do you have to support mental health and counseling with 49 votes?
So mental health and counseling is one aspect of our educational system that's kind of looked over, and it's extremely important, especially in our day and age where we're having a lot of issues in our society that stems from mental health. And unfortunately, it doesn't get the attention it deserves. With a strong mental health and counseling support system in our district, I can almost guarantee you'll see our students reach levels of success that I know we can get to. So I strongly advocate for mental health support and counseling services in our district. I think it's a very vital aspect of our community as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next question is for Juan.
Juan, with 44 votes, what efforts can you take to hold the board meetings in a more effective way to allow the public and guests and stakeholders to participate?
Perfect question, because communication is key to running a successful district, and so there's got to be communication between the teachers, the parents, and the district. Now, I've attended several board meetings where it's really difficult to get everything across, because it's not. It could be run. I'm not saying it's bad, but I know that it can be improved upon. So what I think we need to do is having some sort of. I know there's a call-in, and people can call in and attend the meetings. However, why not have meetings in Zoom or this platform where the translating is done separately, so you can express your thoughts, your complete thought, and make sure that everyone is communicating effectively. And I think that is one of the, I'm not saying the best way, but that another option that we can provide is providing an opportunity to meet via Zoom, because people that don't have access to Zoom can still call in. So that would be another option where it could be where we could create transparency.
Thank you.
And the next question is for Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia, 44 votes from the community. How can you ensure that there is transparency in the data or information presented by the district leaders? What access and by when should the public be able to obtain this information?
That's a perfect question. I work at a district nearby, and I commend our superintendent because the actions that he takes is just amazing. He seeks out with his leadership team, and then from there he lets his staff know. Staff email goes to everybody, and then from there it goes to the community, because let's face it, parents are going to be asking questions. They're going to be asking their teachers, or they're going to be asking their teachers are going to be calling the offices. And if we don't have a fine stream of what's going on, then our parents are going to be lost. And I feel that in order to be able to express that, we need to have a clear communication channel in order to be able to get that clear message across.
Thank you.
And the next question goes for Ariel.
Okay, Ariel, with 38 votes,
Yeah.
What are your short-term goals for Delhi? Next 2 years,
that's
I
a really good
apologize.
question.
Short-term
Yes.
goals in the next
No worries.
2 years.
That's a very good question. Right now with this pandemic, it's hard to see what the future entails for all of us, right? But the one thing that I see that the district can do, and I would be, hopefully, if elected to the position, is I would like to see the district double down on their distance learning curriculum, finding an effective distance learning platform. Something that I feel that a lot of parents are concerned is that they're not getting all the education they need with this distance learning that they're doing now. So I feel that they need to double down, invest right now, because although this pandemic seems like it's going down, it's on a downward trend. Pandemics can keep going. We've already seen what the pandemic has done now, right? So we could already see what other pandemics in the future, hopefully we'd never have another one, right? But we're prepared, right? If we invest right now, we're prepared for the future, all right? So, and secondly is invest in more CTE programs, right? A lot of these kids that don't have the desire to go to college or university, although this is what we strive for, right? But they might be good in other areas, right? That doesn't mean that they need to go to college or university, like coding. A lot of kids are into computers, especially now in this age, right? Or robotics, in film and advertisement, in content creation, right? What we're doing right here is a form of content creating. And I feel that this is the future, and we need to invest in this as well.
Thank you.
The next question is for Juan.
Okay, Juan, how's everybody feeling? We're doing okay? We're doing
great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your honest, concise questions. It looks like the community is really appreciating that, and they're very impressed with all of you so far. So we're going to keep moving. Joanna, you're going to have to remind me now. Who did you just call? Did you say Juan?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, Juan. What will you do to make Delhi schools high performing? And by high performing, they mean improving reading and comprehension scores. Do you believe this is an implementation or an administrative support issue, and why?
Okay, well, if we look at the dashboard, for the Delhi district, we are underperforming in reading language arts, mathematics. And so that's very concerning, of course. And so one of the things that we definitely have to do is we have to invest in making sure that either the curriculum we have now is implemented effectively. We have to make sure that we provide intervention support for students that are struggling since, early on. So whenever we notice that they're falling behind, either in reading comprehension or mathematical concept procedures or whatever it may be, it's important for us to catch them early in order for us to make sure that we target them and we focus on the foundational skills in order for them to build upon those so they can be successful throughout their educational career in the elementary grades. So once we do that, I think that's the main key. And that's the challenge. I mean, it's not easy, but that is the main key. We have to catch them early, provide effective intervention, and provide training for our teachers to make sure that the curriculum that has been adopted either is being implemented correctly, or whether we might have to adopt another curriculum or whatever it may be. But whatever it is, we have to make sure that we target our students early.
Thank you.
The next question is for Ramon.
Okay, Ramon. What are your plans to improve extracurricular activities such as sports and field trips in elementary and high school with 26 votes?
Extracurricular activities are also vital to our district because it gives kids the experience of growing up with that camaraderie. It gives them the experience of going places where they typically won't have the opportunity to go to. It opens up their world. They can see more than Delhi. They see what's available out there for them. So that's a very important part of their experience. I remember 6th grade camp. I'll never forget it. Very beautiful experience at Green Meadows. So things like that, it opens up the kids' minds and see that the world is bigger than the area that they're in, and sparks that interest and develops their minds into wanting greater things for themselves, like exploring sciences and things of that nature. So I definitely would love to support extracurricular activities and sports because it plays a vital role in our kids' lives.
Thank you.
The next question is for Ariel.
Okay, Ariel. How can you, as a school board member, ensure facilities are safe for students and employees with 24 votes?
I looked into the edsource.org website and I found out that Delhi is entitled, and it states there that they should be receiving close to $4 million of the CARES Act, right? That's in combination of the CARES Act, the state of California, and federal funding. Okay, all those three combined is $4 million, right? So how to keep the district safe, all the school sites safe? We have to ensure the right and proper PPE for the students, for staff, for teachers, for everyone that comes in and out of the schools. Okay, we need to ensure the proper social distancing for our kids, as well as parents, whoever comes to our sites. Okay, and the proper cleaning. Okay, for all school sites, in between classes. The one that's really hard is for high schools, and that's something that still the district is working on, because in this high school, one kid can infect the whole school, where in the elementary, one kid can infect one classroom. Okay, so this is something that the district is working, and something that I would be also working with the Public and Health Administration from the state of California and their guidelines. So that's the way to keep these kids safe during this pandemic and going forward as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next question is for Cynthia.
Cynthia, 21 votes. what can be done to ensure our schools provide GATE and STEM programs?
Well, currently I know that we don't offer those programs, and I understand that we do, kids get tested about elementary, I want to say 3rd, 4th grade, to see if they qualify. And I see that we probably don't have the numbers in order to qualify for the program, but understand that maybe there's other avenues in which we can we can qualify for. For enrichment, you know, there's a great robotics that Lego Foundation has, great robotics avenue that kids are so engaging. I know my kids would love that. And just being able to see what's out there, not just get ourselves, you know, on the enrichment piece. I would love, you know, kids are able to adapt to or are more gravitated to more of the hands-on experiencing. You know, bring, like I said, the robotics. It could be sewing. It could be anything that kind of triggers our mind, that makes them think a little bit more. It would be something that would be so simple, but for them, it's like, whoa, I'm going to do this, and that to get to this point. And so to be able to explore those avenues in which actually just asking the kids what they're involved in and what they would like to see, and then be able to implement it in a way that it's educational for them. It's probably going to be a completely new avenue, because it's probably something that because we don't have, but it would be a great start for us to be able to implement that now, and to see to see a program grow.
Thank you.
We're starting a new round. Next question is, again, Cynthia.
I think the stick is coming back to the beginning. It likes a repeat. Okay, Cynthia, in your opinion, what changes can be made to increase parent involvement?
I currently was last year part of the school site council at LCAP. And let me tell you, it was very slim people that would show up. It would be literally the principal, 2 teachers, and then two of us parents. So it wasn't very many. And honestly, as a parent that works, it's hard for me to be able to attend meetings at 4 o'clock, at 4:30, because I'm still working. So being able to listen to parents, to ask them, you know, be upfront and ask them, why are you not attending? Is it because of childcare? Let's provide childcare. Is it because, you know, is it the early times are too early for you? Do we need a later time? Easy. Well, let's fix it. Let's move our meetings so that they're in the evening, to be able to accommodate parents. And then some parents work in the evening to work in the morning. So to be able to have different kinds of meeting times, to be able to grasp both ends, because we need to understand there's parents that work nights or parents that work days. So to be able to channel those two, and just being, like I said, just being honest, and call them. You know, we see that people are able to express a lot of their frustrations on Facebook, but hey, if you guys are expressing your frustrations on Facebook, on social media, then let us know what we're doing, so we would be able to all come together to be able to express what you guys want, and then what we want for our kids.
Thank you.
The next question is for Ariel.
Yeah, Ariel, with 17 votes from the community, what programs do you believe should be offered to working families that will allow for early drop-off and after-school programs for K through 6th grade?
Well, I am not sure what programs there are now, other than the after-school program that I believe David Jensen and I believe Juan Peña also helped create, if I'm not mistaken. And those programs are still in place. Obviously, with this pandemic, it's not, right? But when we go back to school, I believe it's something that we need to double down on as well, and ensure that these kids are getting the help even after school if their kids can't pick them up. Even if the parents can't pick them up, but they need these resources to get advanced or to get caught up in classwork. This is something that we need to focus on, okay? As far as to early drop-offs, I've never had the ability to drop my kid off earlier, so I don't know if there is a early drop-off, but create a program where at least teachers can rotate them going in early, and create some type of program where they can start asking questions if they're behind in their classes. Almost the same platform that they do after school, but doing it early, right? Before they get their breakfast, if they're there for breakfast, or before they have to attend their actual classes. So that's what I feel that we need to help create and get the district involved to make this happen as well.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Ramon?
Okay, Ramon with 14 votes. In your opinion, how can lunch be provided for students who cannot find a ride to the school sites?
So this is something that this is new to us that we're dealing with. The only way I can think of providing lunch to our kids is probably having like a specific delivery site other than our schools, for kids that can't get to the school, maybe somewhere closer, like in their neighborhood, and we have a designated spot where kids can walk a little bit to pick up their lunch. That would be one of the solutions that I can think of at the top of my head. Other than that, it'd be a challenge delivering, to every single kid. So I think that would be the best option, setting up locations in neighborhoods that's close enough for any kid to get their lunch. That way they're not left without a lunch.
Thank you.
The next question is for Juan.
Okay, Juan with 14 votes. What are your plans to bring up reading scores? What free platforms can we bring to provide books for kids to read after school?
I think it's important to make sure that reading is not treated as a punishment. I think students need to learn to read for fun. So one of the things is, if we are asking our students to read, and that's one of the things that we have to do, ask our students to read regularly. However, they have to read for fun. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're reading a comic book, if they're reading a novel, if they're reading a book of their interest, because whenever we ask them to read and we ask them to read something that they're not interested in, well, they're not going to be comfortable reading. And so reading for pleasure should be a priority. And then there's different platforms online that you can use to provide opportunities for students to read. If they have trouble reading, there's ways that they can listen to the book being read to them, and then eventually they can build up the vocabulary so they can get better at reading. One of the online platforms that they can use, for example, Get Epic. Get Epic is a source where they can get all kinds of different books online and just read. So I think that's important, that we need to make sure that we target to make sure our students are reading for pleasure.
Thank you.
For the next round, the next question is for Cynthia.
Cynthia, with 13 votes, how can you as a board member make sure that the current curriculum is effective?
Well, that's easy. Just making sure that the curriculum is effective is looking at the student scores, looking to see, are we meeting those scores? And if we're not meeting the scores, then what can we tweak to make sure that our kids are meeting those scores? I know that with things are changing and curriculum is changing. From the whole Common Core that was introduced a couple years ago, it was new to everybody. And I know it was a difficult platform or different curriculum to be adjusted to, but I know these kids are getting there slowly, but surely. So as a parent, I want to know is what can I do to keep our kids, keep my kids performing, and for teachers is they want to see too, how are these kids responding to it? They're the ones in the classroom. They're the ones that are getting the most of our little ones' minds during that time. So they're able to give us data to show if our kids are meeting the standards, and if they're not, what can we do to make it better? What can we do? What are we missing? What's the missing piece that our kids need to be able to perform?
Thank you.
The next question is for Ariel.
Okay, Ariel with 11 votes. Should the superintendent get a raise every year, or should it be based on his performance, and why?
Wow, that's funny that you say that. About a week ago, I actually looked into that, and I went to the Transparent California, and I looked at his annual raises. And an average, it's an average, right? You add them all up, all the years that he's worked, right? And then you divide it by those years, okay? he's made an average of $15,000 every single year, over a year, in a underperforming district. How is that possible? Yes, I do believe his raises should be based on performance and solely on performance. It is unfair that a superintendent gets a raise every year, but he can't find a way to come in a consensus with the teachers and give them a contract, give them a raise, give them at least COLA. COLA stands for cost of living adjustments. They're entitled to that. So yes, I do believe that the superintendent's raises should be based on performance. So thank you.
Thank you.
The next question is for Ramon.
Okay, Ramon with 9 votes. In your opinion, what efforts can be made to reach working parents or guardians?
We need to explore every avenue possible, whether it's social media, whether it's text messaging, whether it's a video chat, and making sure that all aspects of the district are accessible to them. YouTube is a great avenue, even emails. And I know there's teachers that have preferred communicational applications like the Classroom Dojos, very successful. So things like that. We need to focus on what works and use those options. And a lot of the times it's these options are free. It doesn't cost us anything. So it doesn't hurt to reach out and use what works and definitely push those venues, those avenues, like I said, like the YouTube and all those options that are available to us.
Thank you. So before we move on to the next name, Joanna, I do want to reach out to the public that is listening in. Thank you for taking the time to be here. We actually have asked more than 20 questions at this point, and the candidates have been asked to be clear and concise because that is what we want as residents of Delhi. We don't want fluff. We want to know what's really happening and how each of the candidates feel and what their position is. So I want to thank them for sticking to the time frame and respecting the public. This forum has come to you on behalf of the community, so I appreciate you taking the time again tonight. We do have 4 questions left, so we will have time to ask questions from the public. So if you are listening in live on YouTube or live on Facebook, please add questions into the comments. I did see one earlier from Joanna Miramontes, so we will get to that question, but I want to let the public know we will have some time to take some additional questions tonight. Okay, Joanna, next name.
And the next name is, the next question is for Juan.
Okay, Juan. As a board member, are you in agreement with board members who serve at the same time on the school board and are in a committed relationship with each other? Do you believe this is a conflict of interest and why, with 9 votes?
Well, that's a very difficult question there. I know, in short, I don't agree. I think we have to make sure that there's no conflict of interest in any way, in any which way whatsoever. So I think even though their heart might be in the right place, and I know they are, but in short, I don't believe that should be taking place.
Thank you.
Okay. The next question will be for Juan again.
Juan.
It just
Next round, I don't know. I mean, you buy some lottery tickets, I think. All right, so Juan, in your opinion, what behaviors should a school board member model to the community and students on social media?
Vicky, I don't think it just should be on social media. I think I'm gonna go ahead and address in general. I think also in the general public, being a school board member, you're representing your constituents, the public, and so it's important to behave in a certain way where you're going to be respectful. You're going to be working with the public with tact, being patient, and understanding to all of the different concerns and needs of the community. So it's important to be approachable, and respectful.
Thank you.
The next question is for Cynthia.
Okay, Cynthia, with 5 votes, but still important, even though there's only 5 votes. Can you clarify, can a person run for the Delhi School Board and be employed by the same school district? Do you know if this is information written in any school board bylaws? So is it possible?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that
Yes.
question again? I'm sorry.
So can a person run for the school board and be employed by the same school district? And do you know if this information is written anywhere?
Yeah, actually, you can't be employed and be, you can't be employed and be running the school board on the same thing. I was actually briefing over the Merced when we went to file for elections. We had they gave us a packet, which is a handbook, which clearly states that an employee cannot be employed by the district, and in the event that they are to win, the minute that they are sworn in, their employment is terminated. So I know for a fact that they can't do that. I can bring in my little handbook too, because I literally was reviewing it over. So the answer is no, you cannot.
Thank you.
And the next question is for Ramon.
Okay, Ramon. This is the last question previously polled on by the community with 3 votes. I'm laughing because I think, Joanna, this is one of your questions. So what can be done to ensure students are not being released late for lunch or during the lunch time?
That's something that, that if that is an issue, that's a issue that can be easily fixed. So we have to respect the bell time. Lunch is also important for the kids. They need to be nourished so they can be ready to take on the rest of the school day. So definitely respecting the bell times, making sure they're released at that time. I haven't seen there being an issue with that. Not that I'm aware of. I hope not, but definitely, yeah, respecting the bell time. That's very important.
Thank you. You had more time. Did you want to add more? Okay.
No.
Perfect. Thank you. So at this point, we have concluded the questions from DTA, CSEA, and the community questions previously asked. I do want to just bring up, as candidates, you are seeing what is important to the public. So if you are voted into school board and do receive the position, I ask you to consider these questions, consider the community that you're serving, and see where you can best serve the Delhi residents. So thank you for participating in that scheduled part of it. We are going to move over and be live. So we're at 7:23. We are ending tonight at 8 o'clock. And just as a reminder for those of you that joined us in a little bit later, all candidates were invited to participate this evening. The 4 candidates that are joining us are obviously here. And so I know there was a forum yesterday, so I hope you're receiving enough information to make an informed decision come election day. My ballot arrived today, so I hope you're all checking your mailbox. Make sure you get your ballot. If you have not registered to vote, it is not too late. And also you can pick up your ballot. So please make sure you not only talk about who needs to be on the school board, but you're actually taking action, registering, and voting. So I want to remind you that. So I'm going to start off with the first question from Joana Miramontes. And Joana, who's this question going to?
Ariel.
Okay, Ariel, what programs are available to help students during virtual learning for intervention? Again, what programs are available to help students during virtual learning for intervention?
I'm not quite understanding the question because okay, so it says what programs are available. I know that Juan mentioned there's Epic for reading. There is the Clever that has all the other applications for their students to be able to access part of their curriculum during this distance learning. But as far as for intervention, the only one that I can think of is K-12.com, right? That is it's a very broad type of curriculum that parents can opt into and further their kids' education if they feel that they're falling behind. I've looked into it and it seems pretty good. I haven't purchased it, so I'm not recommending this to anybody. Please do your own research. But yes, if you want to talk about distance learning and what type of things are out there, I would recommend K-12.com. K12.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have Jose in the background, and he is going to be pulling some questions from the live feed. And that is one question I had written down, so if we can give him a second.
Do you want me to pull the next name or just wait till the question is asked?
Yeah, go ahead and pull the next one.
So that was the end of that round. So it's a brand new round. I'm going to make sure these sticks don't stick together again. Okay, Ramon.
Okay, Ramon. And this is a little bit similar to a question that was asked earlier, but I don't think it was asked of you specifically, from Oscar Sagaceta. What is your big picture for Delhi? What are your personal goals for this district?
So yeah, shout out to Oscar. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. We all worked together at Assets for many years with Juan Peña and that school program. So anyways, let me get to the point. The big picture for Delhi is, one, change the culture of our district. We need to get all the stakeholders together and ask the hard questions. What's going on with our kids and their scores? Find out what's working, what doesn't work, and fix the issue. Bring our kids' scores up and make our district a successful district where I know where we can be as successful as we can be. So that's one of the things I want to focus on is changing our culture and making sure that everybody is included. It's a collaborative culture. And just ensure the success of our kids. That's one of the main things that I would like to change in the next 2 years.
Thank you.
Once we have the next question, it will be for Cynthia.
Okay, Cynthia, the next question is coming to you from Linda Ramirez. What can you as a board member do to improve the speech department for children with IEPs?
Okay, so it's a great question. I, as a person that I work at a school district, and I understand that it's the turnover rate for speech pathologists there is just a turnover rate, and just understanding that. But one thing that is critical is, if we know we're not going to have a speech therapist early on, let's not wait till August. Let's not wait till September to hire one. Let's be looking into agencies or businesses that provide services. There's many services, and there's local, there's Modesto, there's Fresno a little bit farther out, but these are businesses that are able to bring in to contract. You have an MOU with the business and the district, and being able to have that early on, so we're not scrambling during school and our kids are not being serviced. And by our kids not being serviced, you open up the channels of possible suing, and that's not what we want to do. We want to avoid that by doing the proper planning. Early on prevents us prevents us to be in any litigation battles. So it's just early on is for us to be able to understand if there's a need. Our speech services, just the need for it is so high. But just being able to catch them early on, employ early on, so we're not scrambling for the last minute.
I also want to say, before you pull a name, is for our Spanish-speaking community, you can also ask your question in Spanish in the comments, and we'll ask the question and it will be translated. So we do have simultaneous translation occurring during the forum tonight. Okay, Joanna, go ahead.
Okay. The next question is for Juan.
Okay, Juan. The next question is coming from Maggie Rosales. Is my child, if my child is being singled out negatively by a teacher or school employee, and I feel my child's principal is not listening to my concerns, would you as a board member be able to assist, and how?
Well, one of the things that as parents we entrust the school system to be a positive environment for our children, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be leaving them in the care of our teachers. A lot of times there's miscommunication. A lot of times there's issues that we are just not aware of. But first of all, I think we need to figure out what the root cause behind the student being singled out is. And of course, if the teacher is not listening, the principal, you've addressed the concerns with the principal and issues have not been resolved, then of course, definitely as a board member, I would be more than happy to listen to those concerns and bring those up to our superintendent, bring those up. And by doing so, we can have a meeting, with all parties involved to make sure that we resolve the issue in a respectful, courteous manner to make sure that everything is resolved for the best interest of our student.
Thank you.
Okay, the next question is for Ariel.
Okay, Ariel. The next question is for Ramon Alfaro. Do you see yourself primarily as a representative of the community or as a representative of the school system?
I would have to say both. Of the community, because I don't just listen to the parents that have their kids attending the district. I also listen to parents that don't have kids in the school district, or people in our community that live in Delhi. I've helped Juan with the Delhi cleanup not too long ago, and I've met wonderful people that don't have people in our districts or in our school systems, but they live here, right? So it's important to have both, right? Both is going to help you create dialogue in our community and understand everyone's needs. As a community, we need to find a way to find the right people in the right places to get things done, right? When it comes to education, it's the school board. When it comes to the town, we would have to reach out to Lloyd Pereira. I think he is the representative or the supervisor for Delhi. So we need to find who we need to address our issues to, and as a community, make sure that we are speaking out and acting on the things that we're speaking about. We can't just speak and not act. We have to act, right? And also empowering certain individuals in our community to become leaders and create groups to advocate these type of movements. So thank you.
Thank you.
The next question will be for Ramon.
Okay, Ramon, the next question is for Ruth Garcia. Can the candidates briefly explain their motivation? This question will be for you specifically. At the end, we will have a general question from each of the candidates asking what would make them the best candidate for this position. So can you describe your motivation for being a part of the district board, and what changes are you interested in making?
Well, my motivation for being a part of the board is advocating for our students and my friends like Compa Huicho and his son Max, making sure they get a great education. My little godson Felix, making sure he grows up in a district where he can achieve anything he would like. And I want to see Delhi Unified School District be put on the map. I want us to be the center of where we're pumping out kids where they're going to medical schools and becoming, doctors, lawyers, engineers, and also the best in our trades, and that they're getting a great education. That's my main motivation to be a part of a district where we can accomplish great things. And I want to see our kids reach for the stars and do anything they want to do because they have that education to back them up.
Thank you.
Okay, the next question is for Ariel.
Okay, Ariel, the next question is from Lilia Fernandez. If elected, what will you do to improve sports in Delhi? high school?
Well, I played soccer briefly in Delhi, and it wasn't the most competitive, right? And I'm not competitive myself, right? I just played it because I wanted to be active, right? But we need to identify those kids that do want to excel, right? And the school system needs to also find the right recruiters in the right universities, right? If we start getting recruiters coming to our schools and offering scholarships to our kids, that by itself is going to improve sports in Delhi, right? Why? Because our school's going to want to push money into the sports, make it bigger, get better coaches. The coaches that we have now are great, right? But give them the resources to become better, right? And also allowing these kids to excel. I've always said it's not what you know, right? It's who you know. So we need to start identifying who is the right contact in the right universities and the right colleges to come to our sport events and start acknowledging the kids that are excelling in our sports. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next question is for Cynthia.
Okay, Cynthia, the question is from Sarah Marie Coey. Hope I'm saying that correctly. If elected, what will be your first goal to bringing together the community in a positive way?
That's a great question, Sarah. For the first goal that I would do for bringing the community in a positive way is, I'm not sure if I've on social media, we see all these little pop-up events coming up. And, you know, I'm totally a believer in supporting local. These are individuals that are making their way to support themselves and, you know, getting out of the private sector and doing their own thing. I would love to have like a little farmers market or a little, you know, granted the circumstances now, I totally get it. COVID, you know, COVID just did one on us for now, but like being able to have like a little farmers market for vendors to come out and just embrace and bringing our kids together, having like our sports events for kids, having like I recently went to my nephew's, it was 2 years ago, for his baseball event. And they had the city had like huge blow up stuff. And I was just like, OMG, this is amazing. And bringing in bringing in cool fun activities for our parents to see, our vendors, you know, vendors that are from here, from Delhi, to getting themselves out there and just having our community come together. I like, you know, who doesn't like food? So just, you know, having that avenue to be able to have like a little like market or something, you know, a farmer's market, something like that to bring in together.
Thank you.
And the next question is for Juan.
Okay, Juan, the next question is coming to you from Erica Fernandez. Classified employees. The question is regarding classified employees. Many of the classified employees have been on site during the pandemic, and they feel that many have been underappreciated, specifically custodian, maintenance, food service clerks, secretaries, etc. What will you do for classified employees?
All right. Well, you know, I myself was a classified employee for the Delhi district not too long ago, you know, last year or 2 years ago, if I may, I'm sorry. And so, you know, these are essential workers. They have been at, Erica is completely right. They have been at the sites, cleaning, disinfecting, getting everything, you know, situated. So when our students finally do, when and if they return soon before the end of the year, is done, they have been doing a phenomenal job just, you know, being there. And so, you know, sometimes, a lot of times, all we want as classified employees is that recognition that, you know, when you're walking down, you know, our leader is walking down and he sees us working or whatever it may be, a simple, hey, you're doing a great job. Oh, hey, you know, I noticed you did this and that sort of thing. So recognition goes a long way. And so we have to build that rapport from our administration to our classified employees, our custodians, because really without custodians, without our classified employees, the school system would fall apart. So definitely classified employees are important. And we have to listen to them, not only listen, but take action onto what are their needs. And so I believe, working together, listening, and taking action, recognizing their efforts is important.
Thank you. Okay, so it looks like we've reached the end of the live questions. There's a general question. I'm just going to put it out there in case anyone can answer this from Elaine Hildenbrand. Do any of you know if there is a community council?
Yes, it's the Municipal Advisory Council, and Juan and I have served on that board. It's under Lloyd Pereira, and he appoints people to serve on the Municipal Advisory Council. They meet every second Thursday of the month at the Sarah Clay Conference Center. So if you're interested in participating in county and in Delhi, helping out with the Delhi aspect, like it's like a city council almost, but not so much as a city council. Second Thursday of every month at Sarah Clay Conference Center.
And one of the things, if I may add to piggyback on what Ramon said, we have to be involved as a community. And so the Delhi MAC has been in place for so many years, and it took so much time for our beautiful Delhi monument signs to be built, and so our community needs to come together. We need to come together, voice our concerns at the MAC. Sometimes when we go to the MAC, there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 people from the community attending. And so we have to make sure that we communicate to our public to make sure that they understand that if our voices aren't heard, it's because we're not going there. Unfortunately, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So we have to make sure that we come together as a community and work together, in community cleanups and coming up with events. That's a great idea that Cynthia proposed about the farmers market. So just little events like this is going to bring the community together.
Thank you. So Francisca Brion has just clarified that unfortunately the MAC has not been able to meet since April due to the pandemic, and they're waiting on guidance from the county, but the MAC is definitely a great place to get involved in the community. So I don't see any more questions. So we're going to go on to our last and final question. Each of the candidates, I'm going to extend to 2 minutes. Look at that. You get a whole extra 30 seconds to answer. I'm going to use a little bit of what Ruth Garcia mentioned earlier to expand the question. So we will start with, I'll go down my list again. We're going to start with Cynthia. So you get 2 minutes. So the question is kind of a 2-part. What makes you the best candidate for the Delhi School Board? And what changes are you interested in making?
Sorry, I was jotting those 2 questions so I can direct my answers to those 2 questions. So the best candidate and changes in.
What changes are you interested in making, and what makes you the best candidate?
Okay, well, I think what makes me the best candidate is that I'm not scared to go into the unknown. This is my first time running. The reason in which I am running is that I would see a lot of negative things on social media, and even I would have my say. And then in retrospect, I was like, okay, Cynthia, you can't be saying anything, because if you're not going to do anything about it, then be quiet. So for me, that was why I felt like, you know what, I'm not just gonna talk the talk. I'm gonna walk the walk. I'm gonna do it. And by doing that, I'm so proud of myself to be doing it, but I'm setting an example for our kids to be able to give back to their community. And I'm not scared of public speaking. I'm a very outgoing person. I can carry a conversation with anybody. And I feel like for me to be able to be out there for the community to be able to feel comfortable even coming to me, even talking to me. My kids belong to baseball. Love doing baseball. We coach every year. I was so disappointed that we this year we're going to coach our girls team, and I was so disappointed because these girls were amazing little girls. And I'm just an active participant in our community. I'm not just, one that's going to be sitting behind the scenes. I know that being put into position, it's going to be work, and I'm willing to put in the work. I have to put in the work. If I'm not going to put in the work, then I need to sit down and I need to step back, and I'm not going to do that. I want to be out there. I want to make a change, not only for myself to show that I can do it, but show it to our kids and show it to the rest of the kids that, once you put your mind to it, you're only going to excel. The changes in which I want to make is I understand that communication is key. Communication here in Delhi has been so lacking. That and transparency, being able to be transparent and communicating goes hand in hand. You have to be able to do both in order to run an effective school system. And with me being, I would hope to be able to be elected in order to be able to help facilitate that.
Thank you. Okay, so Ariel, the question is, what makes you the best candidate for the Delhi School Board, and what changes are you interested in making? 2 minutes.
All right. Well, first and foremost, my kids. I got 3 kids, right? And I've always said that I want to be a parent that leads by example. Reflect on your kids. Do you want your kids to see what you're doing and be a reflection of you? That's what I've always told people, and that's what I've always lived by now that I'm a parent. And not only that, but create an educational system, a competitive school system for my kids, right? Where we can attract the best kids to come to our schools. That is one of the biggest things that I want to accomplish if I get elected. The next one is the transparency. We need to work on that. Right now, with technology advancing, there is no excuse, zero excuses of why we can't be more transparent than ever, right? Using platforms like Zoom or the platform that we're using right now from Jose Moran, things to make sure that we're getting our voices heard, and not only our voices heard, but let our community be heard, right? So that we can act on what our community members are talking and speaking. Also, I want to also elaborate on parent committees, right? Yesterday, I found out that I participated in a Delhi parent committee. And not until last week, I found out that committee even existed, right? So creating awareness to the committees and groups that we have in our school system, that is going to be the most crucial thing. And I understand that we are possibly 90 to 95% Hispanic in our community, but we also have English-speaking parents that sometimes I feel that they're being left out, or even Punjabi-speaking parents. I feel that they're not being part of our community of parents. They are being left out, and we need to ensure that they are brought into the conversation as well. So if I am elected to the Delhi School Board, I want to make sure that all these things take place. And I know it's going to take a lot of hard work, right? But we need to understand that the outcome of this election will affect the educational needs of your kids for the next 4 years. So today, I'm asking for your support to bring change to this underperforming district and vote Ariel Gonzalez to ensure that performance that we so desperately need. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so then Juan, again, I'll repeat the question. What makes you the best candidate for the Delhi School Board, and what changes are you interested in making?
One of the things that I bring to the board is objectivity. It's very important for board members to listen into both sides, not just listen to the superintendent, not just listen to the parents or just the teachers. We have to make sure that we listen to all sides, and we have to make sure that we act on those concerns, because you can bring up all of the issues that you want, but if you're just listening and not following up on that, well then what's the point? A lot of the concerns are that we have been voicing concerns, but nothing has been done about it. Now, I bring commitment to the board. I'm committed to being part of the board. I know it's a very difficult position. However, I'm committed. I believe in collaboration, working together with all stakeholders, parents, teachers, classified staff, superintendents. And so working together to make sure that we get results. So we have to make sure that we get results for our students. So one of the things that is important, my kids go through this district, and I want the best for this district. I want the best for my kids, just like every parent here. We address our concerns, we address whatever the issues may be, And so we want to make sure that us as parents, by wanting the best for our kids, I'm sure that's going to affect all of the students in Delhi. So Ariel, Cynthia, we have kids in this district. Ramon has a godson. He's here. We want the best for the kids. So I know there's 4 of us running here that are here. Vote for 3 of us. And so we got to make sure that we listen to the parents, listen to the teachers, because there's been concerns, and we have to make sure that we provide that change.
Thank you. And last but not least, Ramon, what makes you the best candidate for the Delhi School Board, and what changes are you interested in making?
So I feel like what makes me the best candidate for the school board is my accessibility, my willingness to work with all stakeholders. I'm open to meeting with anybody, parents, teachers, school employees, and it's well known. Everybody's comfortable meeting with me. I always listen, and I feel like my independent thinking and the leadership that I can bring to the board can change the direction of our district, definitely. And I want to just reiterate what Juan said. There are 4 candidates at this forum, and these 4 candidates, you pick 3 of them, and just think about it. This will be the choice that you will be making to change the direction of the district. I would love for your vote, but I would also be happy if you vote any of these 3 other candidates. And they have my full support, and I wish everybody the best of luck. And let's change the direction of our district. Let's get our kids on the path to success that I know they deserve to be on. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, with that, we are going to wrap up the night. But before we do, I do want to shout out to our planning committee, party of 3, Joanna Alfaro joining us tonight, Aidali Curiel Raigosa, who helped us in the background scenes and posting. And I'll give myself some credit because this was out of my regular stuff, but we did an amazing job. Thank you, everybody. Especially, I want to thank Jose Moran for allowing us to use his technology and this wonderful platform that has worked so seamlessly tonight. And not to mention Cristina Cruz, our translator, who has been working hard the last hour and a half translating. Thank you so much for allowing our Spanish-speaking population to be a part of this process. I'm glad that it all worked out well. I also want to thank those of you in the public for joining us. We all know everyone has a different opinion, and that's great. That's what makes us a wonderful place to live. We just ask that you register to vote, and you vote, because what you have to say doesn't mean squat unless you put it to paper. So go look in your mailbox. If you haven't, your ballot should be there, and make sure you vote on time come election day. And last but not least, I do want to thank the 4 of you for joining us tonight: Cynthia Caldera, Ariel Gonzalez, Juan J. Peña, and Ramon Prado. Good luck to you come election. Thank you so much for your time. With that, we're going to close it out for the night. Thank you again, everyone from the public. We appreciate you participating in the poll and asking the wonderful questions. Now all the candidates know, because I know they've all seen the questions. They know your concerns, and whoever's voted in needs to work on addressing those concerns. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.